What's up, everybody? Got another Bible review for you guys today. This is the ESV Premium Thin Line from Crossway in black goatskin, and it is a really nice Bible. Actually surprised me about how nice it was. This edition is kind of one of the newer generation of premiums from Crossway that are printed and bound in China. So I was really interested to see how this one was going to turn out. And I'll kind of do a spin shot of it so you can see all the way around it. Some interesting things to note. It only has 2 ribbons. It almost has a full yap. It's like more yap than any other Crossway edition I've ever had, which is really nice. And the goat skin is surprisingly nice. It's much more grainy. It's very similar to the natural grain goat skin that Jongbloed uses, and I think that was purposeful from on the part of Crossway, so they would use something that wouldn't be so different. Like the new preaching Bible, the goat skin is grainy, but it's very spongy. It's not as rigid as this or as Jongbloed Bibles, the natural grain goat skin from Jongbloed. So anyway, this is the new ESV Premium Thin Line. So here's the box, and it looks very much like the 80th anniversary Omega box. So this is probably going to be the new standard, and I like it. I like these boxes. Here's the ISBN with the retail of $190. The retail is lower because they're printed and bound in China, and the materials are just not as expensive. The printing is not as expensive. That doesn't mean it's cheaper or lower quality. It's just they're passing the savings on to you guys, and I'm really impressed by this. There are a few things that I'm going to show you that I think they can improve, and they will improve with future productions of this Bible. And also I want to point out some misconceptions, because a lot of people were wanting to know how this compared to the Heirloom Thinline, okay? And it's bigger. It is the same size, actually a little bit bigger than the Omega. So here's the Omega. This is the 80th anniversary Omega. And it has the black goat skin is a little bit different black. Okay. And you can tell the spine's a little different, but the size is the same, roughly the same. Now the text block, the Omega text block, you can see is bigger, but the yap, there's more yap on the Premium Thin Line. So it's just a hair smaller than, as far as, it's not as wide as the Omega. But that kind of gives you an idea. Now the Heirloom Thin Line is a good bit smaller. So, and I will do a comparison video showing you the difference between the Heirloom Thin Line produced by Jongbloed and the Premium Thin Line. So let's just get into this. First thing, looking at the spine, you'll notice something if you have premium Bibles. These ribs are a little short. They are a little bit short, and I'll explain that really quickly. Most times, like when you're rebinding, you have to add length to your ribs to take it into account the front and back hinge, usually about 1/8 of an inch. So total is going to be about 1/4 inch added, and that's about how short these are. They're about 1/8 inch short on the front and 1/8 inch short on the back. And I think if they had added a little bit of length to the ribs, that would have been that much better. It would have been that much nicer. I mean, the ribs are a little short, but it's not a deal breaker. And the fact that it has almost a full yap is very nice. It is really, really nice. And I'll show you. Let me hold it up where you can really see it. I mean, it's really close to a full yap. So that is really, really nice, and it'll train well. I've already kind of started working with it. It reads really nicely, and I'll open it up and show you guys all of it. They did use only 2 of these just not very good black ribbons. I don't know when Crossway will kind of progress to using better ribbons. I hope it's sooner rather than later. But Let's open it up and look. It does have the same type liner as the Preaching Bible, and it's a little thinner of a calf skin, so it makes the covers is really floppy, just like the Preaching Bible is very, very floppy cover. It does have a nice gilt line on the interior. The gold gilding is really nicely done. I was really impressed with the Preaching Bible gold gilding on mine, and I'm very impressed with this one. So the really R.R. Donnelley has not disappointed so far with their shot at these premium editions. They really have done a good job. So it's edge lined. Obviously, it's edge lined on the block right there, and you have a few sheets, like 2 sheets of cardstock, and then you starts the book block. Here's our publication page. It's a 2019 printing in China, R.R. Donnelley. That's what that RRDS it stands for. It's a 2016 text, and at the top it's Premium Thinline Edition. Okay. Now let's look at this and see what the text looks like. All right, so this is about an 8.5 point font. So it's a little bit larger font than the Heirloom Thinline or the standard Thinline. It's not quite as big as a large print Thinline. So it has its own kind of identity. It has some decent margin in the gutter, which I'm so thankful for, because far too often these editions, they read so far into the gutter, it's almost like it's unusable in some situations because the text runs so deep and you almost have to pull it apart to read all the text. But you can see that there is a lot more margin in the gutter than there is on the outer margin, which that is great. When you're holding a floppy Bible like this by the spine, it's going to be like that. And you see how all that extra margin gets eaten up, and now you just can see text. So it reads really nicely. Let me spin it around so you can kind of see the footprint and how it looks. I'll move it out just a hair. And you can kind of see how it looks from top to bottom. The art gilding is really nice. It is a different shade of red than the Jongbloed. And I'll just pull the Omega back out and show you the difference. It's a little bit different. The Omega has more of a salmon color. You can tell it has a little more orangey hue to it, where the R.R. Donnelley, it's lighter, but it has more of a red color to it. So it's going to be different. And the Jongbloed art gilding is going to be a little more heavily coated. It's going to be a more consistent color. I think, and I'm pretty sure that they will improve on this in future editions from R.R. Donnelley. As did Jongbloed. Jongbloed had the same issues when they first started out making these editions for Crossway. So I think they will improve, obviously. So again, you have the 2 black ribbons that are just, I don't get it. I don't know why they don't use, if you're going to use only 2 ribbons, make it 2 nice ribbons. It's a premium thin line. And a lot of the a lot of the nice polyester ribbon is made there in China, so it's not like it would be a huge expense. Anyway, as with all other thin lines, they're going to be a paragraph format, and this one does not have references, where the example I've used, the Omega, is a large print thin line reference. So it has references, and it's a 10-point font. This is a 8.5 point font without references. But it does have a good layout. It does read really nicely. It is not line matched, which is unfortunate, but it does read really nicely. So I'm pretty pleased with it. Again, one of my favorite features is the yap. The yap is considerable. It's extended. It's a good size yap, and even though the block is smaller, it's going to have plenty of protection. And often you'll find on used Omegas and used Heirloom Thinlines, some of the gilding is scratched up. This should help protect these premium Thinlines. This is going to be a black letter text. Here is Matthew. You can see it's all black there. And I'm really impressed with it. There is some ghosting, but there's some ghosting in the Heirloom Thinlines, and there's actually, I think there's more ghosting in the Omega than there is in the large print Thinline reference. But it's thin paper. It's not going to be as thin as the Omega or the Heirloom Thinline, but it's still a decent paper. Now we get to the back and we'll see the additional features. You have the Concordance, and this is the same Concordance that you would find in the Omega. It's not as extensive as the New Classic Reference Concordance, but it's a decent sized Concordance. And I do like the Crossway Concordance, the 3 columns with the bold words. And now your Bible maps are on glossy cardstock. No matter how nice a Bible is, if maps are on the glossy cardstock, I have issues with it. But as you can see, it's probably not going to change based on my opinion. But anyway, all right. So here's the back. You can see it's tabbed into the block there, and there in the back cover it's stamped goatskin leather. One issue, you can see where the yap, I've been training that yap, it folds right beside that imprinting. I wish that imprinting was a little higher, to where over time, where this cover folds over the block, that's gonna wear that imprinting out. I wish it was a little higher on the liner. And then the goatskin, let's just kind of take a really quick snapshot comparison between the two. They look very similar. This is the natural grain goatskin from Jongbloed, and this is the goatskin that's being used for the premium Thinline and probably the other heirloom or premium editions that are printed and bound in China. They look very similar. The texture on the Jongbloed edition is going to be a little firmer. This is a little softer, not as soft as the Preaching Bible, but it's a little bit softer. The liner used, this is a much denser liner. I wouldn't say thicker, but it's definitely a more rigid liner, which gives this cover a little more firmness, even though it's very flexible. This one is more of the liner is more similar to that of an Allen. It's more of a dull, like the NCR bound by Charfleet. They use a similar liner material, and it has more of a dull finish. And it feels and looks like that. So, but it's going to be much more floppy than the Omega. So now the thickness, that's one thing that's kind of tripping me up. This is a premium Thinline, and it's a smaller text, but it is thicker than the Omega. I mean, it's about 1/8 of an inch thicker than the Omega. The Omega is right at an inch. This is about 1/8 over an inch. The Heirloom Thinlines is way thinner. But anyway, just wanted to show you guys that, because there are some misconceptions when news was coming out that these were going to be printed and bound in China, different paper. It's not going to be Jongbloed paper. We weren't really sure what size it was going to be and how thick it was going to be. I think it still qualifies as a Thinline, even though it's over an inch thick. It's more like 1 1/8. Or maybe a hair over that, but it's a good size. It's heavier than the Omega. It has a body to it. It feels more like a large print, but the text is really nice, and it seems like there's a little more space between the lines, so it reads really nicely. So anyway, that's about all I can show you guys. Now keep on the lookout. I will be doing a comparison video between this and the Heirloom Thinline, because it's going to be more similar in text, but this is more similar in size to the Omega. That's why I brought the Omega in on this video. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can be notified whenever I upload new videos. And let me know what you think of these new additions. There's a lot of differing opinions on if they're doing the right thing, moving away from Jongbloed and toward the Chinese produced Bibles. I think they did a really good job with this one. They had a lot of potential for problems. They made some great decisions. The Yap is a great decision. I think the text block turned out really well. The art gilding looks really good. Could have done better on the ribbons, as always. Could have done better on the Bible maps. Could have done better on the ribs. So there's a few things that I hope they will improve on in future productions of this Bible. But overall, I think they did a pretty good job. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. God bless.